So I'm Kathy Evans, and I'm the Reference and Archive Librarian at Shenandoah University here in Winchester, Virginia. And this morning I'm going to talk to you about our previous lack of online archive access. I'm going to talk to you about how we got introduced to Hyku and the results of our decision to adopt Hyku and where we hope to go from there. Prior to our introduction to Hyku, we lacked readily accessible online information about our institution's history. The marketing folks had developed a timeline on the institution's About Us page, but some of the information was inaccurate or lacked context. And believe it or not, we had a content DM subscription, and it had never been implemented. We were paying for it and not using it. And so everything that we had digitized lived on the Google Drive, which had to be shared on a case by case basis. And being a small institution, we didn't, and we still don't have anyone working full-time in the archive. We're celebrating our 150th year, so with that sesquicentennial approaching, we knew we needed to make, the history available for those who wanted to celebrate our history. In 2023, our consortium, the Virtual Library of Virginia, or VIVA as is known, partnered with Hyku Commons, PALC, and Pawnee to offer a pilot program to members of the consortium. And we decided to join the pilot. And during our pilot period, we, reached out to different folks. And one was Virginia's Piedmont Community College. Crystal Newell, she offered some time and shared her experiences with Hyku, and they were happy with it, thought it was easy to use. They had loaded their yearbooks. And so we also asked Nick, Don, Stanton, Rourke to, hopefully he's on here today, to present us with a tour of the application. And even though he went really fast, we thought it was pretty easy and useful. And we ran out of time with our pilot program. We were busy with other things, and so they graciously allowed an extension to the pilot, and that goes to thanks to Nick Don and Carl Pereno. And as a small institution with no library IT staff, we found that Hyku was a good choice in both the value and its supportive community. So as the fall of 2024, Shenandoah's history is now online. And this is like groundbreaking, really. And I have to admit, to time constraints, our setup and theme were borrowed from Anderson University, thanks to Nick Don. I feel that, that if I spent too much time analyzing the layout and adding a bunch of metadata to everything, because remember, it was on Google Drive with very little description. Some things were just labeled with numbers. I felt like I needed to borrow from him to get things started. So I did minimal descriptions, and most of our works are made in PDFs that are searchable. In just over 6 months, we have either converted or scanned and loaded all 66 yearbooks, student newspapers, and some historical photographs. We have over 200 items published with 107 works visible and 4 publicly visible collections. Our yearbooks are accessible to anyone, anywhere for the first time ever, unless you're on eBay. Maybe you could see them on eBay for sale. Some challenges that we encountered was that how the works are ordered and displayed. For instance, newspapers with different years but the same volume and issue numbers are out of chronological order, and it would be nice to rearrange those works in a way that we want them displayed. And we don't have any committed Hyku workflow for other staff. I am processing most everything that goes in the repository. I hope to recruit and train a student or a staff member to work in the application more consistently. And then we also use Easy Proxy for our subscriptions, and at this time we cannot limit access to our SU community only. There's some workarounds that Nick Don has offered, but at this time we're just making everything public. And as everyone that works in Haiku knows, that sometimes it's slow to load. But I will say that I've learned to reach out and ask questions. I email Nick Don or I post on Hyku Commons Basecamp, and everyone has been really willing to help. Looking ahead, we hope to continue to add more content from the archive. We hope to be a repository for faculty and students in their work. And we want to continue promoting the repository by linking Haiku to our catalog holdings. I want to thank Nick Don and Carl for taking the time. They have office hours on Fridays, and they've even, sometimes I can't make that meeting. They've even, been willing to change their schedule so that they could meet with me. And, they've answered all my questions, and hopefully they'll answer any other questions I have. And I also want to thank Crystal Newell for taking time to talk to me about her experiences, and Viva for joining Hyku Commons, because it turns out this is an easy, affordable platform for our archive. Thanks, everyone, for your time. I am open to any questions or suggestions you might have. And as you can see on most of the slides, you can access Hyku Commons easily at suhykucommons.org. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That's really exciting. I know you've got to be thrilled to have those yearbooks available.
Yay, Nick's here.
Yeah, Nick's here. Does anybody have any questions for Kathy?
Just out of curiosity, what was the thing in the collection you were most excited about getting online?
Those yearbooks, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a great warm-up, is those yearbooks for folks always. It doesn't matter if they're alumni or, they look at the hairstyles and, the culture of that time period, and they always, it always warms them up for more engagement. Thanks, everyone. I think it's a big deal too that we have the yearbooks online finally.